The Thick of It is like truly like one of the most enduring classic political comedies of all time. If you haven't seen The Thick of It, it's great. And it was specifically a satire targeted at the Labour Party and the Labour Party's kind of obsession with image and spin. And it really got under the hood of what was funny about that iteration of the Labour Party. And I would also always recommend people that they watch In the Loop, which is the filmed version of The Thick of It. And that, I think, is still one of the best films that engages with the lead up to the Iraq War. And it is a extremely funny but pitch black and furious satire about the lead up to the Iraq War and the kind of appalling decision making that led to that war that brought so much kind of misery and death to that region. And it's something that I would always check out. So I that's the thing that I always come back to. I'm like, you can still do it. There's still gonna be fuck ups.
I think satire at its finest is a mirror. And I think you've got to hold it up no matter who you're holding it up to. Like it's about self-awareness, and like nobody gets off easy, you know, like, oh, I can't wait to rip Kamala, please let it be Kamala. And I think even like when Biden was in office, he still is technically, but like it's a wrap. But the thing is, like, it was tough because people didn't want to, like, go at him too hard because there was this big energy that Trump would come back around. And so it's like you don't want to, like, tear him a new one just in case we needed him to tear it again. Yeah. And that, I think that puts people in a kind of compromising place when you have to pretend that this guy isn't melting in front of us all.
I think, Kemah, you've identified something that's really probably interesting and important, because perhaps there was a scrutiny deficit of Biden because of the fear of Trump. And maybe one of the things that we're learning, like as progressive people, certainly in the last 20 to 25 years of politics, is that it is as important that we scrutinize the people we have more in common with than we're very happy scrutinizing the right when they're in power. We're very happy doing it aggressively. And, you know, again, as someone growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s, maybe there was a scrutiny deficit of Tony Blair. Maybe that scrutiny deficit is what led him to make the absolutely unfathomable decision to take us into the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Maybe the scrutiny deficit of Biden meant that we weren't pushing him hard enough. Maybe it meant that it was only when it was sort of exposed on national television that he was, I believe the quote is, melting in front of our eyes.
Oh my God.
That, you know, maybe what you've identified there is something that's important both for satire and for the kind of liberal or leftist media, that it is actually really, really significant that we scrutinise our friends as much as our enemies.
Absolutely, but do you think anyone after Hitler was going, oh yeah, how are we going to make fun of the next guy?
Yeah. That's definitely
maybe just give the next guy a bit of a free pass for a while.
Yeah. That's definitely the energy that I think, because I just to be clear, I don't blame anyone, especially in America, and to be honest, I sort of don't blame people right now who, you know, sometimes when we go at the Labour Party on the podcast, we do sometimes get feedback from people going, please give us a month. Just please fucking give us a month. But you know, but at the same time, I do think there might be sorts of lessons to be learned here. And I mean, I do think we are in a demonstrably different position at the moment than America was in 2020, where it was like, Trump's been defeated, but this is like one of those movies where they've definitely set up the sequel in the post-credit sequence. Like, the only thing I will say positively about the Conservative Party is they have had the decency to fully shit the bed. They have. The bed is so shitted that at the moment you can't even tell it's a bed. You're looking at it going, that's a pile of shit. Look, the disarray just at the minute is pretty thorough and spectacular.